phishing email. Messages arrive at Bank of Valletta which, at first glance, look like they come from the French Financial Markets Authority. In fact, the hackers had set up a different email address that looked extremely similar to the real one. They only need to fool one Bank of Valletta employee into clicking the link or opening the attachment, and their virus is soon spreading inside the bank's networks. Here's where things get interesting for you ardent Lazarus Group watchers. You might think they'd carry on with their new ATM jackpotting technique. After all, it worked at Cosmos Bank in India.
But for the Maltese cat, we can't reach the hackers to ask them why, but I'm going to guess that they were put off by the staggering logistics involved in jackpotting.
That's right. I mean, think about it. After the cash point attacks, there were hundreds of mules reporting to dozens of gamblers running around with bags full of cash worth millions of dollars. Getting their cut of that money could be a big headache for the hackers.
So for the Bank of Valletta job, they go back to their trademark, tried and tested method of attack, the one they're world famous for, using the SWIFT system.
SWIFT is a messaging system that financial institutions around the world use to send transfers to each other.
Once the hackers get inside the Bank of Valletta's network, they snake their way to the bank's internal SWIFT software and use it to send money directly to accounts they have control over, right from under the bank's nose.
It sounds so much cleaner and neater, doesn't it, compared to the ATM jackpotting? You've not got money mules or handlers, there's no need to track and recoup all those banknotes. Actually, here's a detail we haven't told you about yet. Remember, the total sum stolen from Cosmos Bank after the ATM raid was about $14 million US dollars. Well, only 12 million of that came from the cash point. The other 2 million was stolen using SWIFT. Maybe once the hackers had done the ATM job, they thought, hell, why not see if we can send a few SWIFT transfers too?
But there's a major drawback to using SWIFT, one that the hackers have come up against before.
That's right. If the victim bank catches on quickly enough, they can actually cancel and reverse SWIFT transfers, clawing back the money the hackers have tried to steal. And that's exactly what happened with the Cosmos Bank SWIFT scheme. The bank managed to trace and stop about half of the $2 million the hackers had transferred out to their own accounts.
So when it comes to the 2019 raid on the Bank of Valletta in Malta, the Lazarus Group faces a challenge. Maybe they want to use SWIFT to avoid the logistical headaches of a jackpotting job, but they also need to ensure that their SWIFT transfers don't get tracked and stopped.
The hackers are going to need help to pull this off cleanly, and they know exactly where to turn for it. The same dark web accomplice who helped them with the Cosmos Fund, Big Boss. What the Lazarus Group hackers need for their Bank of Valletta job are bank accounts they can transfer the stolen money into, what criminals call drop accounts. They're usually set up under a fake ID or some other false pretense, and the crooks controlling them are experts in moving money so that it can't be clawed back by investigators.
Big Boss doesn't just run mule networks and provide cloned credit cards. He can also offer drop accounts. And it turns out he's not working alone. He's got someone helping him with this service.
Brother. What's up, bro?
This trusted friend goes by the alias Hush Puppy. Not sure why. The first thing that comes to my mind are those delicious nuggets of deep-fried cornmeal called Hush Puppies. It's a Southern American snack.
I've never had one, but look, however he got the name, Hush Puppy's got a long history with Big Boss. It's very probable these two never met in real life. They may have no idea about each other's real identity or even location. That's just how it goes down in the cybercrime underground. But that hasn't stopped them working together on plenty of jobs. They're brothers, all right, brothers in crime.
So in January 2019, a month before the raid on the Bank of Valletta, Big Boss lets Hush Puppy in on the plan to take the bank for all they can get.
12th February, they're doing it. My associates want you to clear as soon as it hits. If they don't notice, we keep pumping.
Just to translate, Big Boss's associates want Hush Puppy to launder and hide the money as soon as it goes in to the drop accounts. And if Bank of Valletta doesn't catch on, the hackers are going to keep transferring more money. And Big Boss's associates, according to investigators, are the Lazarus Group. But again, it's likely Big Boss and Hush Puppy don't know that. No one gives their real name on the dark web. It's kind of crazy to think that Big Boss and Hush Puppy are assisting an alleged North Korean state hacking operation when it's entirely possible they can't even find the place on a map.
All they know is that they've been promised a huge payout. And on the cyber criminal department, don't ask too many questions.
Big Boss tells Hush Puppy he needs drop accounts that can land 5 million euros each without setting off alarm bells. Hush Puppy replies with the details of an account at a Romanian bank that's primed and ready.
But Big Boss thinks one account won't be enough to handle the fun. He demands 4 accounts, or spots as he calls them.
I have 4 spots available. You gave me 1. Try to get me a next one, please.
As the deadline nears, the pressure grows. Without these drop accounts, the hackers won't be able to max out on the heist. Big Boss keeps pushing.
Brother, tonight is my deadline to submit anything more. Do you want to add one more, or just stick to the one you gave me?
Hush Puppy comes through just in time. He gives Big Boss details of another drop account, this time in Bulgaria.
On that Wednesday in February 2019, the hackers spring into action inside the Bank of Valletta. Big Boss and Hush Puppy are seeing their drop accounts fill up with cash.
Wire is completed. We did it.
By the end of that first day, the Bank of Valletta still hasn't worked out what's going on.
We still have access, and they didn't realize. We're going to shoot again tomorrow, a.m.
And then it all comes to a screeching halt. Someone inside the Bank of Valletta realizes they've been compromised, and they just shut down their systems. That's what causes the chaos at shops across Malta. The bank then releases a statement to customers and the press saying they're under attack.
Big Boss texts Hush Puppy with a screen grab of the headlines.
Look, it hit the news. Damn. Too bad they caught on, or it would have been a nice payout.
Nonetheless, it's a good run for Big Boss and Hush Puppy. The hackers steal 13 million euros from Bank of Valletta. It's worth almost $15 million at the time. Now, we don't know for sure how much Big Boss and Hush Puppy would have got as a fee for all this, but money launderers traditionally take a big percentage.
I'm guessing Big Boss and Hush Puppy were probably banking on more lucrative collaborations with these clever hackers. But in the meantime, they've got a bunch of other shady schemes in the works.
That's right. A few months after the Bank of Valletta hack, Big Boss and Hush Puppy are working on another job together, totally unrelated to North Korea. This time, they're scamming an American law firm out of almost $1 million. And as the flight goes down, Big Boss is on a flight to Atlanta, Georgia, in the US. When he gets off the plane, he finds text messages from Hush Puppy, hassling him for confirmation that the law firm jobs come off.
What, bro?
Landed. Just now.
Money came in?
Yes.
Give me a screenshot.
Big Boss tells him to hang tight. He'll send a screenshot of the money sitting in their drop account just as soon as he gets a strong signal. So Hush Puppy waits. And waits.
But that text never arrives because, unbeknownst to Hush Puppy, just after sending that last message, Big Boss is arrested at the airport. His real identity and his whole criminal backstory is about to be exposed.
Turns out, Big Boss had been on US law enforcement's radar for a long time. In 2017, police were investigating a small gang that specialized in stealing the personal information of wealthy bank customers and using it to withdraw large sums of their money. For the gang, one of their members was also an informant for the US Secret Service. Thanks to evidence from their undercover source, the police move in and arrest a few members of the gang. During the investigation, the Secret Service pick up phone calls to a member living in Canada. Now, this guy seems to be calling the shots. He's booking flights, reserving hotels, making sure everything runs like clockwork. He seems to be the gang's boss, the Big Boss. In fact, it was our Big Boss, the same one who goes on to launder millions of dollars for the North Koreans. And, by sheer fluke, US law enforcement have stumbled across him. They start monitoring him, and when he finally flies into their jurisdiction in October 2019, they nab him at the airport. Beautiful.
Big Boss is unknown. This shadowy dark web facilitator who marshaled the teams of money mules for the Cosmos jackpotting raid, who helped clone the ATM cards, who helped move millions from the Bank of Valletta, was, in fact,
the money launderer, Galib Alamari, who is being prosecuted by my office and is in custody in the Southern District of Georgia.
Galib Alamari, a.k.a. Big Boss, a.k.a. Backwood, a.k.a. Habibi. He's a 36-year-old Canadian. And looking at his mugshot, he has on a plain black t-shirt and pretty neatly groomed. He's got short dark hair, a very well-trimmed mustache and goatee, and a slight 5 o'clock shadow.
Alamari conspired to steal and then launder tens of millions of dollars for the North Koreans and other criminals.
This is Tracy Wilkinson, part of the Department of Justice team chasing the Lazarus Group hackers and their accomplices. The team reveals their criminal case against Alamari in a virtual press conference, and they say that just 2 months after the Cosmos attack, the Lazarus Group used Big Boss's services for another ATM jackpotting raid, this time on a bank in Pakistan, where they got away with $6.1 million in just 23 minutes, thanks in part to Ghalib's network of money mules.
साइबर अटैक आलमी पेमेंट स्कीम और रकम हासिल करने वाले बैंक पर हुआ।
I've been doing a lot of digging into Ghalib's background. It's an intriguing story. It seems he was born into quite a well-to-do family of business people in Quebec. I'm looking at pictures of a grand house the family rent out in Montreal. It's an amazing place. 8 bedrooms, heated pool. The garden leads right into a beautiful park next door. But it seems things went off the rails for Ghalib as he grew up. I spoke to one of his former business associates. He didn't want to go on tape, but he told me how Ghalib got caught up in financial crime from a young age, getting in deeper and deeper. And we found Canadian court records which back that up. He was convicted of theft, possession of fake credit cards, fraud, got several fines, periods of probation. You can see Ghalib growing in confidence through this time. His old workmate told me Ghalib was always into computers, and it seems it wasn't too big a switch to move forward into cybercrime. So Ghalib sets himself up on the dark web as Big Boss, and, well, you know the rest.
Ghalib's arrest isn't the end of this investigation. Police quickly discover suspicious correspondence with a contact saved on his phone as Hush. That's right, it's a mystery money launderer, Hush Puppy.
As the police begin to look deeper into his identity, they discover that this shadowy cybercriminal has a very public alter ego, global fame, and millions of followers on Instagram. The chase is on, and it's going to lead them to the playground of the world's super rich.
I didn't know exactly what he did. I knew he had money. The lifestyle was a lot, but it's Dubai. Everybody there is rich.
That's next time on The Lazarus Heist.
Is presented by me, Jean Lee.
And me, Jeff White.
Our producer is Viv Jones.
All of seasons 1 and 2 of the Lazarus Heist podcast are available now. Go to bbcworldservice.com/Lazarus Heist or search for the Lazarus Heist podcast. And once you've found the podcast, do please leave us a rating and review if your podcast platform allows for it. Your comments will help other listeners find the show. Remember to follow or subscribe.
Thank you for listening.
Hello and welcome to Sporting Witness from the BBC World Service with me, Justice Beidou. Today I'm taking you back to the first Women's FIFA Football World Cup in 1991 and the Nigerian team who battled against the odds to become the first team from Africa to play in the tournament.
Our best game was against Italy. We came out really passionate, wanting to win, so we gave it our all, and that was, for me, was the best moment. Having his coach say, hey, yes, I'm proud of you ladies and I'm proud of what you've done. In that particular game, we fought hard. We just narrowly lost that game.
That's Nkiru Okosieme, the captain of the Nigerian squad who made it all the way to the 1991 World Cup tournament in China.